Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Suzy Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have another really exciting interview ahead of us about sharing your business gift as a growth strategist. Today, you'll be meeting Michelle Fernandez, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who helps take the guesswork out of growing your business so you can take clear and confident actions to become more profitable, powered by data-driven decisions. Hey there, Michelle. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I know we're going to have a great conversation about your midlife entrepreneur story. We're going to be talking about your business and what's going really well, and also what midlife issues might be getting in your way to some extent and may be challenging for you in your life as well as being a business owner. I'm really excited about our talk for a few reasons. One is because I know you're going to put a whole different spin and mindset around funnels. And it'll probably help me calm down a little bit about them, which is also a very good thing. So let's start out with my favorite question. How old are you? How long have you been an entrepreneur? And what it is that you do in the world? Take it away.
Okay. So I am 54 and I started as an entrepreneur. Literally, I quit my 30-year job in 2019. I literally because I worked with my mom as a mom-daughter mortgage shop. And I gave her a year's notice to leave because I was like, I got to get this business up and running. And so that was 2019. I've been incorporated LLC kind of thing in my entrepreneurial journey over here. And I was semi-entrepreneur with my mom because we both ran the business. So that's been really cool. And I have evolved into what I am today. So when I first started, if I rewind some, I have twins. And when they were first born, I was like, okay, what can I do to stay home with these cutie pies? And at that time, it was pharmaceutical rep, right? That gave you flexibility, teachers, right? And I forgot what the other one was, but not anything I was interested in, right? So fast forward, they start driving. So I'm like, oh, wow, I need to earn some extra money to pay for car insurance and all the things and gas. And I realized that I was doing these Beachbody workouts and I was like, hey, I can make some money selling shakes. And so I started that. And that's what got me learning this online marketing. How am I going to sell all this, right? And then I quickly realized, okay, I really don't like selling the shakes or the workouts or whatever. I mean, I did the workouts, but not sell it. And I really just went all in and realized that I had a talent that I didn't know I had, right? It was Facebook ads. I was getting such great results.
Wow.
Getting my offers. Live video was the thing. So I was selling how can you do live video and be on camera and all that good stuff. And then somebody said, you should actually do this for other people. And I'm like, no way. Well, of course, I ended up doing that, right? I started in social media management, all the things. And I just love what I do so much. And I think that what lights me up the most, especially with the funnel building, is it's taking somebody's vision because most people are not techie, right? And it's like, this is what I want to do. And then I actually build it. It gets into people's hands and then they sell it. It's almost like literally making people's dreams come true, right? And that is what totally lights me up because I know what it's like to be in a spot where you just feel can I just get out of here? Right? It's like there was a time in my life where I felt like, okay, I'm 40 something. I just have to settle in this life. And so no matter what age you are, that comes to me, in my mind, I feel like you're that person and I want to help you get out of there.
But how did you figure out that funnels was the way to go for you?
So when I was learning this, they called it attraction marketing at the time. Again, it was the techie. So it was building something that we can collect their names and emails and how do we get them to be attracted, right? And then driving the traffic to that thing. So I was really good at being on camera. I felt comfortable and, relatable to people. I listened to what I was learning. I'm like, okay, I think I could do that. I know how to do that. And then it was like, okay, but then it was stopping like, okay, but now what? I need to get that name and email. And then when I dove in, I just started to figure out I'm the type of person that when I get something, if I have to read the owner's manual, I'm like, I don't want it. Like, I want to come in user friendly and do it, and I can just figure it out. And I didn't realize that other people couldn't do that. I just thought, oh, everybody can, right?
No, everybody cannot. And like you, I started out in direct sales after I left my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I also recognized the problem of this data collection and getting the names because they either go into a corporate database, which is what usually happens. They don't
Right,
usually go, or maybe now things are different. But back when I was dabbling, I was like, okay. And then if the company goes under, you have nothing.
right.
You've got nothing, and that's common,
Yes,
right?
totally.
So you had a creative breakthrough where
Yes.
you're like, "Okay, I wanna do more. I wanna kinda create this as more of my business,"
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yes.
where did that come from?
I think for my mom, right? Because she had her own mortgage company. And it's funny because a lot of times I always pictured myself as the right hand to her,
Mhm.
right? It was her business, and I would even, what are the words I'm looking for? It was almost like she took all the risk. And I just was like, okay, you want to do this? I'm going to help you. So I still felt like that right hand. And I even, when I went to do it on my own, I'm like, I totally know what I'm doing, right? Am I enough? Do I know enough? Do I have the tough skin to then like do this myself and take this risk myself? So that was a little bit of a hence the 1 year the 1 year's notice instead of 2 weeks, to build that confidence in myself to then say, heck yeah, I can do this, right? It's just, I'm good at project management. I'm good at what I do. And I was lucky enough that all my clients are just referrals. I ended up not having to use the funnels to get people to come in with me. I would end up building. Isn't that funny how it ended up being?
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it's just been crazy. And I will tell you, I remember one day when I first started, I was like, oh, wow, like trying to get your clients. And I walked my husband to the door and I said, honey, I just don't know. I don't know if I'm strong enough. And then he said, well, then quit. And he shut the door and he left for work. I was like, oh, no, he's not going to tell me to quit. I'm not a quit. I remember it being so, and I called him and I said, I can't believe you would tell me to quit. He's like, well, are you going to stop like threatening yourself that you're going to quit because you know you can do this? I'm like, okay, I won't say it anymore. It's so funny.
Wow, wow. And then things started to go well, I guess.
Yes, 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 very good. One of my coaches, she took when I was in that thing, I was in a mastermind and somebody said, you should do this, run ads for other people. And I remember being so scared because I'm like, wait a minute, that's gambling with someone else's money.
Right.
Right. And I was like, I can risk my own money. I don't want to. And then my coach said, well, what if you ran ads for me? And then I really got nervous. I didn't want to say no because I'm like, this is a big opportunity because she knows other people,
Yeah.
right? So then I was like, okay. So she gave me $2,000 and she says, here you go. And that $2,000, I had $100,000 launch. It was like 115,000 is what we made back on the
Wow.
$2,000. So then she's like, okay, this time I'm going to give you $5,000 to invest on ads. And then it was just like this whole ripple effect from there of somebody actually taking a chance on me or seeing something in me that I didn't quite see in myself or didn't have that there. So that was very special for me and like forever grateful for that.
Wow. Yeah, it is scary to take a risk.
Yes, yes. And sometimes, I don't know if this is you. I used to be in the mortgage business the youngest person in the room. Now I find myself being the oldest person in the room. And now everything with AI and all this stuff, I'm sitting like even last week I was at a conference and the majority of the people were in their late 20s or 30s. And I was kind of to myself like, I feel like I'm so I don't want to say too old for this because I don't think I'm too old for this, but it's like, wow, if I would have had this back in my 30s or my 20s, what would life be like? And
Oh,
I'm
the
like,
technology wasn't even there.
I know. And I'm like, these kids have it so easy. They don't even understand. And then I'm sure our grandparents said the same thing.
Yes, they did.
And I was like, well, wait, like, this is amazing that no matter what age you are, you can come in and make anything that you want happen. And that's the beauty, I think, of what we have today versus when we were younger, to have this capability. Because one thing that I am very anti, because in this online space, everybody is like, you have to make $1 million to have made it, right? That's what makes you successful. And I don't believe that to be true. I believe that it's whatever you want it to be. So if 500, if 200,000, whatever it is that works best for you and the load that you're carrying, the size team you want to build or not build, right? And I think that's the beauty of it, that you can create this to be whatever it is that works for you and your life that you want to live.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I remember one time somebody was on a discovery call with me and they asked me about my salary and I said, or my earnings. And I said, well, why do you want to know? I said, you don't know what my goals are.
Yeah.
You don't know what my goals are at all. And without that, you're right. It's not just a generic benchmark,
Mm-hmm.
although many people want that.
Yes.
What
And
you
that's
mentioned,
totally fine.
exactly. What you mentioned about the team, though, I realized that too when I thought I wanted a membership. And I'm like, oh, this is all volume based. And that means I'm going to have to hire more people. And I don't really want to do that. I get my jollies from coaching.
Yeah. It's so true. And without disclosing any information, I have worked with clients that are 8-figure clients, right? Like anywhere. And just because they're making that money, they're not necessarily profitable. So I think a lot of times we look at it thinking, oh, wow. And if you don't have the right systems in place or the right team or what have you, you not being profitable, you're putting in all this effort for nothing. Right. So I
Yeah.
think that's where the focus needs to be, is what profit do you want to have or need in order for you to run the business. And if you're following along with that and you're hitting those profit margins, right? Then you can set your standard to be wherever it needs to be.
So, what led you to become the funnel whisperer?
It's where I look at it is people usually call me and say, Michelle, this is not working, right? Can you look at my stuff? Where are people falling through? Why aren't I getting more sales or more leads? And what I quickly realized, even though I'm not totally, I wouldn't call myself a numbers person, but I think I am, is that when you map out what all those benchmarks or numbers are along that customer journey within your funnel, it's so easy to see where those gaps are. It's almost like that pink neon sign that's like right here is where it's happening. And everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, most people don't like to look at their numbers because they're like, I don't know which ones to look at, even if, right? Some people are like, oh, I know they're bad, so I don't even want to look at them to remind myself how bad they are.
Right?
And then other people are just like all up in their feelings where they're like, oh, nobody buys, so they must not like me, or my thing is not good enough, or let me get a new audience, or let me get a new offer. And I'm like, wait a minute, you just put all this work into this. Nobody said that it wasn't bad. I even had a client one time where she would constantly, I'm like, if you look at your numbers, you're actually above the benchmarks, right? So if you're not happy with the results, let's see how we can get more people in. So it comes down for me to be like, are you visible? Are you getting connections, engagement with those people? And then are you converting? So it's usually one of those three buckets. And everybody always thinks I need more sales. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Do you really need more sales? Or do you need more people to get in to then still have that same conversion, but now you're just selling more people, right?
Mm.
So I think that for me personally, it allowed me to deal with my feelings and my freak out moments a little bit easier to say, wait a minute, if I just take the feelings out of it, not make the numbers mean anything other than this is what they are, and
Data.
then I can just say, this is what I need to do about it. It just changed my whole outlook and making business fun again.
Hmm.
Rather than it just being so like, oh my God, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, right?
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
And when it comes to midlife, what I've noticed and what one of the main points is of this whole podcast is how midlife gets in the way of you running your business the way you want to. So how's that coming up for you?
It's different, right? Because before it's like you have young kids and you're driving around, and I remember thinking, okay, I'm an empty nester now, so I'm gonna have all this free time. Okay, it doesn't work out that way. There's always something. And my mother in law, for example, moved in with us. She lived with us for 8 years. So, I mean, my husband's the youngest of eight. And I remember with his siblings, we're always talking. And I'm like, well, everybody's downsizing, right? Because they're empty nesters. And I'm like, we can't really do that because we have your mom to consider, right? So, there's certain financial decisions that we had to make or not make, right? And then when she got ill, she was ill for about 2 years before she passed, and it was here, and then it was like, "Okay, who's gonna take care of her?" Yes, I'm home all the time, but I'm also working all the time, so that all of that comes into play. Both my children moved to different cities, which is amazing because 'cause they're thriving in their jobs, and then it's like, "Wait a minute, now I don't see my kids at all, so when am I gonna go see them? When are they co—" So it's just a total shift in everything. And because I have this role where I can work from anywhere, it's giving me more flexibility than I actually had when they were younger. I feel like it was a little bit more stressful in the running around and all of
Yeah.
that than now. It's a different stress, but I don't know, not as, I guess, more as much responsibility. I don't know if that
Yeah, the responsibility's at a different level
Yes.
when you have minors and they're really physically needy.
Right.
It's different now, bigger problems, bigger kids,
Mhm.
but they're not like hanging on your leg and you don't need to drive them to places and that kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly, but listen, both of my kids at 26 just had their wisdom teeth pulled out, and I did go take care of them because 'cause they're like, "Mom, can you come?" I'm like, "Yes, I will be there." Like, "You don't have to ask me twice. I will be
Oh my gosh, I just had a flashback because that wisdom teeth scenario, it's always like getting the medicine when the kid is in the car,
there."
half still out of it. And I mean, we had some very funny moments while I was running in to get the medicine and they're just flaked out in the car. That whole scene and then the puffiness and the ice
Right?
and all of it, it was kind of funny. And my guys they all wanted me to record them when they were like that.
Oh, how funny.
I'm like, really? Gonna come
Are
out
you
at your
sure?
wedding, be sure. No, but like you, if they need your help, it's like, awesome, I'm there.
Exactly, 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 and I'm forever grateful that, again, this whole online thing, because I do have that flexibility, and even when they went to college, it's like FaceTime and, things like that, that I didn't have back then, and I did certain things with my mom, So, I think it's amazing, and I will say that I feel like I used to think like, "Wow, in your 50s, that's so old." And I'm like, I think the 80s now is gonna be the old measure until I get there. That won't be so old.
Well, I interviewed some people already on this show,
Mhm.
um, or my other podcast. The oldest was 99.
Oh,
Still
wow.
actively marketing a book.
Oh, I love to hear that.
I I would happily send you the link.
Yes.
I interviewed Elaine Lelaine, Jack LaLanne's wife,
Oh.
and she was remarkable and is remarkable, and she's promoting the book about her husband's legacy.
Oh, that's so amazing. I just saw something where a lady was 100 and something, and she still went to work every single day.
See?
I loved it. And she goes, "And if I stop working, I think I'm gonna die." Right? Because there's no purpose, there's no showing up. And I will say that that is something where we don't have to do the running around anymore. So then what happens? You sit and you watch Netflix or you watch TV and then you become less mobile, right? And then I
Right.
feel like that's beginning more of the aging process than the number itself.
Yeah, and there are more people talking about that, and a lot more people are choosing part-time or not
Mhm.
retiring. So on this show, where I've interviewed so many women now, well over 150 women,
Mhm.
and they're not you the vast majority are not talking about retirement, no matter their age. So I've had
Right.
several in their lots in their 60s, some in their 70s, and a few in their 80s. And they're not talking about retiring. Only a few. Some of them, I think one was going to sell the business maybe, and somebody else was thinking about stopping a few parts of her business, but keeping the other ones. So just shifting
Mhm.
things around a little bit. Some people just get rid of the stuff they don't like as much.
Mhm.
Lots of options coming up for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this group, once you have that entrepreneurial bug and you have
Yeah.
developed an entrepreneurial mindset, it's very hard. I even have a friend though who's a teacher, and I was playing pickleball with her and our sons a couple weeks ago. And I said, "But aren't you retired? Like, I thought you were retired." We were talking about work, and she was mentioning she's back at work. She said, "Well, I did that retirement thing for a year, and now I'm back at work part time."
Yeah. Well, I always say that, like, if you hit the lotto, I'm like, I think after a good 2 weeks, maybe a month, I would be totally bored. Like, what do I do with myself? I need to be making some sort of an impact, helping people do something. So I can't imagine not doing anything. That would
I
be
guess that's the beauty of aging is you've got wisdom, you have a really good sense of your soft skills and how they
Mhm.
apply different ways in the world and what you really like, what your purpose is, where you find meaning. Like you're so much more onto yourself in
Mhm.
terms of your own fulfillment. And as, somebody with an entrepreneurial mindset, you're able to create lifestyles that work. So
Yeah.
now, like you said, when we have this flexibility and mobility, if you can go work in your favorite place in the world, why not? Like, what's not to love about that?
It's so true. So, so true.
Exactly. Okay, so what would you say is something you really want next in your business? Like moving forward to create that thing that's going to bring you whatever it is that you're hoping for? What is that?
That is such a great question because I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately. And what is that next level? Because right now I do mostly one to one, right? Done for you work and things like that. And I would really love into more of almost like a group coaching experience and really helping more people give them the ability to create these systems for themselves because I know it all sounds so scary and or like a heavy lift, a lot of work. However, once it gets in place, it removes so much work from you, right? It gives your customer because where I find a lot of people is they just want to make an impact. That's what they want to do. They want to help more people.
Yep.
And by putting some of these systems in place, you're able to connect to them more, make their journey, their experience of working with you so much better, right? Making them feel seen and heard and all those good things. And a lot of times, even though it's not like you're trying to hide from it, they don't know that you're not actually sending the email. But when they reply back, that's you that's replying back, right? You're giving
Right.
them that opportunity and really helping them get that transformation or that result that they signed up for. And that's the whole reason why everybody's in business, right? So that's I think my next advance and speaking on more stages. I would love to do that. I think that sounds so much fun, right? Really connecting with more people, even outside my realm, just meeting different people from different places.
That's so fun. What would you say has been one of the more surprising things about being a midlife woman over 50 and an entrepreneur?
More surprising how much I am able to keep up with the youngins. And I will say, so I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, and my sister in laws are always like, you're always hanging with them and not with us. And I'm like, that's how you stay young, right? And that's how you stay in with some of, what's new, what's going on, what's the latest this, what are they saying? So when you're in these other places, you can have conversation, right? No matter what age they are. And I love just really listening to what what people do or think or say and really about their business. So when I go and help, like today I was on a coaching call and somebody asked about flooring, right? That was their business, was like flooring and stuff like that. And I was totally able to contribute. I was like, oh, I totally sound like I know what I'm talking about because I just had a conversation with somebody else about, and I was like, oh, people want this, right? So it's just staying in tune with what everybody's conversation is. I think that really is helpful for people.
Oh, that's great. And I've also been surprised by things. And one of the things that's really surprised me is how special the entrepreneurial mindset is and how
Mhm.
much I was not exposed to it in my 27 years working, more in the healthcare sector, in publishing, health education, that sort of stuff. And it's not that there wasn't creativity going on, and certainly tons of amazing good work was going on. But there's something about the entrepreneurial mindset that has the ability to dream
Yes.
bigger. And
Yes.
I wasn't exposed to any of that kind of thinking. I don't know if ever I'd been exposed to what
Right.
I've seen in the last 10, 12 years.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
a different way to look at the world.
Yes. It's literally like anything's possible. I don't know if you ever watch, I mean, I watch Netflix a lot and I love anything with the sports, right? And watching how these athletes not only perform, but they are just at this level. They go into every game or whatever sport they play knowing that they are going to win. But then they also know somebody's going to lose. But they don't go in thinking, well, there's a 50-50 chance. It's always, I'm the best. We are going to win.
Yeah.
And I just feed off of that because I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs, they have that same mindset, right? So I try to feed off of it and live vicariously through them.
I love that. That's a really great example of a very dialed in mindset, like
Yes.
extreme focus, present moment functioning, really, really good.
Yes.
And speaking of functioning, how are you coping with stress? What's your go-to way to calm down and nourish yourself?
I am laughing because that I think is like a daily practice. Am I alone in that? Or
No, you're not alone in that.
well, I learned on this journey. This is the other thing that I love about this space is because there's so much mindset and growth. I do have a mindset coach, number one. And anytime I get frustrated or I keep failing at something, or I start number one, be self-aware. And then number two, I start to notice the pattern. And then I say, okay, what can I do in this moment to learn from this lesson so it doesn't continue to happen? And then I take a deep breath. Sometimes when I get a little stressed, I'll just break the pattern. So I'll get up from my desk, I'll walk around, I'll listen to music, maybe have a little dance party, whatever that looks like to kind of break that of what I'm in. And then I go every Sunday, we go to the beach. So that's my way. They say looking at large bodies of water really
Yes.
helps calm you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if we can get that in at least once a week, breathe that fresh air. So there's a lot of little things that I try to do to not allow the stress to even start to mount. I really when I start to feel it, I just try to nip it in the bud rather than to let it fester.
Yeah, and the spinning, it's
Been
it's just such a time and energy suck. Those
yeah.
were great. Those simple little strategies are science backed. So
Yeah. Yes.
that's really good. So what would you say are 3 really important points you wanna make today?
Okay. I think the first one is what I started to say already. When you notice a pattern repeating within yourself, because we all have this identity that we're living in, like how to get to the new one is, what might you do to let this continue to repeat, like the self aware showing up. Then the other thing is business is what you make it and what you want it to be. So being able to create for you what works for your life, your relationships, your family, whatever that looks like, it doesn't have to look like everyone else's. I see that all the time. Well, so and so's, having all this success, making all this money, doing blah, blah, blah. and they do XYZ, but maybe you don't want to do those things, right? And I see people just falling into that trap. It's not a one size fits all. And the biggest thing is nothing has meaning but the meaning that you give it. So whether that be in your data or in whatever's happening in your business, in your life, conversations that you have with people, it's like, don't interpret it to mean something that it wasn't really meant to mean. And once I think you detach those feelings from any outcomes, it's a total game changer in life, for sure.
So good. Michelle, how can people best get a hold of you?
Yeah, you could follow me on Instagram at the Michelle Fernandez. That's the best way. Send me a DM, whatever you want. I have a couple of goodie freebies in there, depending on where you are in your business. I think that would be amazing.
So that's the best place. What about your website?
Yeah. Or you can visit me at themichellefernandez.com. I also have a podcast called Optimize to Monetize. And you can check me out over there for all things funnels and optimizing and all that good stuff.
And I know there's one more thing. You have a gift for my audience.
Yes, I have something called the Conversion Clarity Kit. You are going to love this because they are custom GPTs. So you go into, Chat GPT, and it really helps you dial in on your mission and values, who your audience is, and what kind of magnetic messaging that you can use so you can stop blending in with everybody else and really start attracting the clients that really can't wait to work with you with that messaging. You are going to love it so you don't sound like anyone else. So I'll definitely give you the link. You could drop it in the show notes for you to really build that foundation that you need that really helps you with everything else in your business.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So check the show notes for this amazing gift. Amazing. And of course, I'll also have this stuff in the show notes.
Yeah.
Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time for your day and sharing all this stuff. I really appreciate just how you're showing up in the world and how you're really helping midlife gals with their automation and tech. I mean, we really appreciate the help.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It was just fun.
So good. Now, that is it for now. If you are listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle who's 50 or over and an entrepreneur and would also like to come on the show, please go to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It's never too late for you to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Suzy Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick before we say goodbye, if you are connecting with the show and are finally ready to make some changes to regret-proof your life, I want to invite you to apply for the Women in the Middle Academy. It's my transformational midlife group coaching program to help you get clear about what's getting in your way so you can get on with the good stuff. Head over to www.womeninthemiddleacademy.com. Talk soon.